What you guys looking at? Alright guys, I have a battle here today against SAM10. Woo! Alright, so I lead with my Gengar, and this is my cool lead Gengar with counter and Destiny Bond. But he has like Shekel lead, which obviously isn't very good for my Gengar, so I go out into Gyarados. He's going to knock off, which knocks off my leftovers, which kind of sucks. But I'm just going to taunt because that'll screw over his Shuckle. But he switches out into Rotom, which sucks, and I end up getting the taunt on that. So now I know he's going to go for the Thunderbolt, so I got an Electivire for the Motor Drive boost, and then I'm just going to go for the Ice Punch just to get damage whenever he goes into. He goes back into Shuckle, and I get the Freeze Hacks, which really sucks for him, which gives me another free switch into Gyarados. And now I'm just going to go for a Waterfall, figuring he'll probably end up going into Rotom on the switch, and I just want to get some damage on that. So I get the Waterfall off on Rotom, and that'll hit it down to red. I actually didn't expect to do this much, but I'm glad I did. So his Rotom's pretty weak right now, but I don't want to stay in and get stay in. So I go on to porygon-z, and I was predicting a Shadow Ball here, because I thought he'd predict a switch into Electivire, but instead he goes Thunderbolt, which really sucks, and he ends up getting the Parahacks on my porygon-z, which screws him over because that's his Choice Specs porygon-z. But that's probably some revenge for my Freeze Hacks. So yeah, now I go into Electivire, figuring he'll probably just go for a second Thunderbolt, and I get the Motor Drive boost once again on Electivire. So I'm just going to go for the Thunder Punch, figuring it'll do more damage to Shuckle and kill the Rotom anyway. So yeah, it ends up doing like nothing to Shuckle, just like Ice Punch. So I go back into Gyarados, and I figure there's only a 10% chance he'll thaw out, so I'm just going to go for the Dragon Dance, hoping to set up. Turns out I probably should have played it safe and went Taunt, because he thaws out this turn and gets the Toxic on me, which really sucks, because without leftovers, that Toxic can kill my Gyarados really fast. Anyway, so I did get a Dragon Dance, though, and he's weak to water, so I just go for the Waterfall. Unfortunately, Shuckle lives it, but I flinch him. So, that's pretty funny, and I'm getting some pretty good hacks against that Shuckle. Anyway, he goes out into Vaporeon now to make my Waterfall useless, and that really sucks. I'm just going to go Stone Edge just to get damage, see what this Vaporeon is going to try to do to me. And I go for the Stone Edge, and it hits him down a half, and he just wishes. So I'm thinking, crap, he's just going to Toxic Stall me, of course. So I know he's going to protect this turn probably, so I decide just to switch in an Electivire because it's like a free switch and he's not going to stay in. And if he does, then my Thunder Punch should probably kill it, because I do have the the Expert Belt on the Electivire, which raises the power of super effective moves. So I just go for the Thunder Punch. He goes in on Metagross, who takes it kind of well, but I have Earthquake, and because of Expert Belt, that is going to be able to take down the Metagross, which is really good for me, because Metagross could have posed a big problem to my team, but Electivire just beasted him. So now he goes out into Heracross, and that kind of sucks. I'm just going to go out into Gyarados basically for the Intimidate, and see what he does. And he goes for the Close Combat. I don't see Life Orb, so I'm guessing this thing is Scarf Heracross, but I'm just going to keep in Gyarados just to see, and he stays in Close Combat, so that's going to KO my Gyarados, but I kind of expected that to happen. So I decided to go on the assumption that he is Scarfed and go out into Dragonite. And he does switch, so now I'm really thinking he's Scarfed because he could have Stone Edge well, I don't know. But yeah, I'm thinking that he's Scarfed. So I go for the Dragon Claw, and he ends up just sending Shuckle in his Death Fodder. He goes into Vaporeon now, and I'm afraid of the Ice Beam or the Toxic, so I go out into Registeel to take both. But he actually switches back into his Heracross. And he predicts the switch into Gengar here, and he goes Night Slash. That was a really good prediction. I did survive. It didn't really matter. I had a Focus Sash anyway, but somehow I survive it without needing the Focus Sash. And I just go back into Registeel to save my Gengar for later, knowing that he's locked into the Night Slash, so it won't do a whole lot to Registeel. And I just feel like, you know what, I'm just going to set up Stealth Rocks now. It's been a while. I kind of wanted them up earlier, but I decided to set them up now. So he goes back into Rotom and subs, which kind of sucks, so I went Thunder Wave. And he's going to Shadow Ball and get a crit, but still does nothing. And I'm just going to go for the Iron Head just to break the sub, and now I'm just going to go for the T-Wave here again, because either way, I'm going to have to survive a hit from this Rotom if I want to kill it, and I might get a Paralyze on something better. But he just stays in and takes the T-Wave on his Rotom, and now I'm just going to Iron Head, and that's going to take down the Rotom, and that's pretty cool. So he just leaves Rotom in to die. I guess a paralyzed Rotom isn't really too valuable for him, so he lets the Rotom die, and it goes down. Anyway, so now he's going to go out into, I have no idea, but let me check. He goes out into Spoons, his Alakazam, and I know this thing has Synchronized, but I'm just going to try to T-Wave it anyway, because a Thunder-Waved Alakazam is kind of useless. But he ends up tricking, so now I have a Choice Specs on my Registeel, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I get the Paralyze on it. Now my Registeel is kind of useless, but whatever. I go out into porygon-z, basically as death fodder. I don't really need porygon-z at this point. I know his team and porygon-z really can't help against anything, so I just let it die. And yeah, porygon-z goes down, and I'm just going to go out into Gengar now, because Gengar is faster than Alakazam because of the Paralyze. I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball, but he ends up going into Vaporeon trying to save his Alakazam, and that's a pretty good play because Shadow Ball won't even do half to it, and that really sucks. And I'm just going to try to go for the Destiny Bond, hoping he'll try to kill me with Surf or something, but he protects, so I just showed off my Destiny Bond, and now he's not going to want to kill my Gengar. So that surprise is ruined, and he's now just going to Wish. I go out in Electivire, and I'm just going to Thunder Punch. He's probably going to protect here, and he does, just to get full health back on Vaporeon. But now I do get a free Thunder Punch on something. So he decides to go out into his Heracross to let me Thunder Punch that. And it was a pretty good play because Thunder Punch won't one-hit KO Heracross because it's not super effective. But that's pretty nice. His Heracross lives. And I go on to Gengar hoping he'd close combat, but he plays it pretty smart and goes for the Mega Horn. But Registeel resists Mega Horn, so I decide just to go out into that, and I'm just going to go for the Paralyze, the Thunder Wave, basically because I was hoping he'd either go out or stay in or let me paralyze the Vaporeon. So I get the Paralyze on Vaporeon, which is kind of good, basically because one Parahax can really screw him over. With his Wish and protecting nonsense. So I go out into Electivire on the predicted Wish, and I'm just going to go for the Thunder Punch, because now I have a free KO, because Thunder Punch will KO Alakazam in one hit, will KO Heracross at this point, and probably kill Vaporeon. So he just sends out Alakazam as death fodder. He goes into Heracross now, and it's pretty nice because his Heracross can't survive another Stealth Rock hit. So I just go on to Registeel, seeing what he locks himself into. He goes for the close combat. That's going to take down Registeel. Actually, no. My Registeel survived with 4 hit points, which is retarded because he's going to die this turn. So yeah, now my Registeel goes down. And I just go out into Dragonite because I know he's locked into close combat. It won't do a whole lot to Dragonite, and I really am surprised he switched because he's just going to die to Stealth Rocks coming back in, so I have no idea why he switched and gave me a free Dragon Claw on his Vaporeon, but whatever. So he gives me a free Dragon Claw, and now he's going to protect, but I decided to be stupid and actually Dragon Claw again instead of Dragon Dance. But yeah, he protects here. Now he's going to Wish, and I predict the Wish here, so I just go for another Dragon Claw, and that'll bring him down to red, and he does Wish, and now obviously he's going to protect, so I decide just to Dragon Dance because it's basically a free Dragon Dance here. So that's what I do. This is a Dragon Dancing Dragonite. So here I go. So I Dragon Dance, and yeah, he protects, so his Wish comes true, and Vaporeon is back into green health, which is annoying. But I kind of think he's going to Wish again, so I decide just to go for the Dragon Claw again. He ends up getting the Parahax here, which kind of sucks, but it really didn't matter. I mean, even if he managed to kill my Dragonite with his Vaporeon, I have Electivire, so I just go into that and Thunder Punch for the win. Like I said, his Heracross is going to die to Stealth Rocks. So good game, SAM10. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys. I had a lot of fun with this one, and see you guys again next time. Here comes in Heracross, it dies to the Stealth Rocks, and that's game over. Alright, peace out, homies. Bye. Alright guys, today's question of the day is, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done? As for me, probably the dumbest thing I can think that I've ever done was maybe when I was in 7th grade. I was trying to because I saw some people snowboarding when it was winter and it was snow outside, and you're at a hill and you're sledding, and I had a hardcore sled, like one of the ones that you can steer, and I'm like, I'm going to try to snowboard on it, and that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. So, leave a comment about that, and see you guys next time.